Founded in 1889, FN Herstal originated in the small city of Herstal near Liège, Belgium. Since that time, FN has brought to the table some of the finest firearms to grace a person's hand and shoulders. The FN 509 is just but one of those firearms. Stick with me as I showcase one FN 509 Midsize MRD, because I will tell you all about it. In a reviewer of firearms will tell you that when we want to sink our teeth into a particular firearm to review, it is nice to have one to review, even when you don't own it. Such is the case of the FN 509. I don't own one, and I had to tap into my local range's rental collection. Well used, shot often, and put up wet and dirty. I can't tell you when this FN 509 Midsize MRD has seen a bore brush. No, really, I don't have that information, because neither I nor the store clerk knows. The pistol was assigned to range duty in 2020, which means that it has had 4 years of use. That's the best I can do. That should count for something, right? So, let me get through the specifications of this particular model first, show you the features, and get to the range part. Yes, I am going to forego my usual maintenance and carry segments for the sake of brevity in this review. FN America, in 2017, introduced the FN 509 as an entry into the Army's Modular Handgun System competition. The FN 509 has received many praise from both owners and reviewers since. My task, at this point, is to simply present the many features of the FN 509 so that you can draw your own conclusions. The FN 509 Midsize MRD exhibits full-size performance in a concealed carry package. It is a double-action, striker-fired autoloader. Fully ambidextrous controls provide ease of handling for both left and right-hand shooters. The FN 509 Midsize MRD is offered only as a non-manual safety model, according to the FN site. The slide is a highly sculptured affair, beveled at the muzzle end for ease in holstering. The slide has excellent front and rear cocking serrations that are deeply cut for a positive hand hold. Atop the slide sits a FN low-profile optics mounting system with plate adapters for direct mounting of more than 10 optics. All black co-witness iron sights are standard issue. The rear sight has a forward shelf for easy one-hand racking against a hard surface. There is an external extractor that also serves as a loaded chamber indicator. The slide houses a 4-inch cold hammer forged stainless steel barrel that has a recessed target crown and a polished chamber and feed ramp. Note that the muzzle end is not capped with a removable threaded adapter, although several models are available with that feature. The FN 509 Midsize MRD also has a double-sprung captivated recoil assembly. That is not an uncommon item these days. Slide markings are minimal, with only the caliber at the lower left front of the slide, the FN logo midship, and the model designation prior to the rear serrations. Moving to the frame is of polymer construction with replaceable steel frame rails. A mill-standard 1913 accessory mounting rail adorns the underside of the frame for mounting sights, lasers, combinations of both, and my to-be-designed mini Slim Jim snack holder. A fully ambidextrous slide stop lever and magazine release will appeal to most shooters, left or right-handed. The frame exhibits enhanced grip textures and interchangeable back straps that are held into place with a single roll pin near the base of the grip section. The front of the grip is nicely textured for a positive gripping surface, as is the back strap. The angle of the grip is slightly reminiscent of a 1911, is arched where a grip needs to be, and has a nice undercut at the rear to protect the hand from slide bite. Bevels are cut in at the bottom of its multi-surfaced grip to help you yank out a magazine should one fail to eject. The trigger housing is nicely rounded on this model with a very mild undercut at the rear. The trigger itself is not unlike the trigger of a Smith & Wesson pistol with its hinged lower that, if not pressed correctly, prevents the trigger from entering the frame and releasing the striker. As mentioned, the FN 509 is a double-action striker-fired pistol. Essentially, pulling the trigger completes the cocking cycle, pre-staging the striker, until a point to where the striker is released. This is a pretty common feature, and reflects the operation of a Glock pistol. The FN 509 incorporates an improved flat-face trigger that feels very positive against the trigger finger. The rated trigger pull weight is 5.5 to 7.7 pounds, but the measured trigger pull weight on this range rental specimen came in at 6 pounds 1.1 ounces with a 5-pull average. I can't say that the trigger was pretty to pull. After years of use with mill cleaning, the trigger pull is gritty, very gritty, all the way to the end until the striker was released. The release was positive, however, and reset was quick. This pistol could use some maintenance for sure. Since I did not have, or do have, a new FN 509 to compare the trigger with, I can only assume that a new trigger would be without grit. As gritty as this trigger is, you will see it work well during the range session. I only had one 15-round black metal magazine with a high visibility, low friction follower with a polymer base to work with for the range session, but the pistol normally ships with 2 magazines that may be 15-round or 10-round units, depending on your state of purchase. The magazines can be disassembled for cleaning. Note that the FN 509 midsize is also compatible with FN 509 17-round and 24-round magazines with appropriate magazine sleeves. As far as safety features, they abound like most striker-fired pistols of the times. The FN 509 is equipped with 4 passive safety systems, a striker block, drop safety, trigger disconnect, and trigger safety lever to prevent the pistol from firing unless the trigger is pulled and the slide and barrel are in a locked position. The striker block prevents the tip of the striker from protruding from the breech face unless the trigger has been pulled to the rear. The drop safety prevents the sear from moving down out of engagement with the striker unless the trigger has been pulled to the rear. The trigger disconnect safety is actuated when the disconnect cam is pushed out of alignment with the sear, preventing the sear from releasing the striker. This safety feature prevents the pistol from firing out of battery. The trigger safety remains engaged unless the shooter's finger is on the trigger and blocks the rearward movement of the trigger, preventing the trigger from moving rearward under inertia should the pistol be dropped. As far as what the pistol is shipped with, and since this pistol is a range rental, I cannot provide unboxing information, but, and according to FN, the pistol ships with 2 interchangeable backstraps, 2 15-round magazines, or 2 10-round, and the owner's manual, locking device, and an FN logo soft pistol case. And also, since this example is a range rental, I cannot perform maintenance on it, but I can refer you to the FN 509 series auto-loading pistol owner's manual, and I've provided a link to download said manual should you be interested. To make things simple, however, I will mention that disassembling and assembling the pistol involves a rotating slide release unit. Unlike that of a Glock, we'll just pull down slide release. But like a Glock pistol, the trigger must be pulled to release the slide from the frame. Okay, well, that's it. Now, let's get to the shooting part of this presentation. The FN 509 Midsize MRD is comparable to the Glock G19 in size. This specimen has only the original grip adapter installed and feels slightly anemic in my hand, but it is what it is, and I will work with what it is. The suppressor height sights played with my brain a bit. At the 7-yard line at which the target was hung, I began with sighting at the bottom of the bullseye, a 6 o'clock hold if you will, which resulted in low bullet impact on the target. Realizing this, I switched the POA to the top of the bullseye. Things started to work for me a little better. While the black sights did not seem to matter sighting in on that red background of the bullseye, they sure made a difference for headshots. I really had to approximate my POA to get close to my intended POI. In my opinion, the front sight on this model needs something to provide contrast with a dark background, even if used as a co-witness to an optic. But this example is not my pistol and not my worry. I am just reporting what I experienced and voicing an opinion. I did take one opportunity to shoot at something besides the bullseye and the head, and that was to the top number 8, while aiming at the hash mark above the number, which resulted in the impact that you see. Elevation was good, but I pulled left a tad. I needed to do this to help determine where on the head I needed to aim, which, as I mentioned, blended very well with the front side of the pistol. So, let me get through this shooting part and provide a synopsis afterward. Given the condition of this range rental FN509 midsize MRD, I give it an A for attempting to overcome its condition. I had only one failure, and that was a short stroke that caused the top round not to be picked up by the slide. I chalked this up to the ammunition and possible built-up filth in the pistol, since there were no further failures. The trigger pull was atrocious, but given the condition of the pistol, it did what it had to do. But now, I am really interested in what a brand new, out-of-the-box FN509 will do. Given the suppressor height sights, the POI was as close to POA as I could get at the distance being shot. I think that with a good trigger and an optic, this model would have performed better, and I could have really pulled those headshots in closer together, let alone the body shots. With that said, it was still a pleasurable first range day with the FN509 midsize MRD. For me, the standard FN509 midsize with a 3-dot sighting system would fill my wants in a defensive pistol. At this point, let's move on and get to my final thoughts regarding the FN509 midsize MRD. Well, I hope that this review has been informative. Comparable in size to the Glock G19 and others in the size class, the FN509 midsize, in general, would make a fine tool to carry for self-defense. The FN509 costs anywhere from $25 to $60 less, has excellent ergonomics, and, when clean, a better trigger than a Glock, while leaning a tad more to the Smith & Wesson trigger. Overall, the 509 midsize is an excellent 9mm pistol. It is just a good size for almost any job, but does fall short of a pocket carry. If you're going to own one handgun, for carry, for home defense, for competition, or for fun, I could make a good argument for owning the FN509 midsize. Well, that ends this review, and now it's time for me to move on to the next review. Hopefully, you will return for more of my review videos, as I look forward to you doing so. Until we meet again, stay vigilant, stay armed, and stay safe out there.